Huh. You look like you're ready to have some fun.
We certainly are.
What are you doing?
Nothing you won't like.
Nothing you haven't already fantasized about. Admit it, you've had sexual thoughts about all of us, haven't you?
Not me.
Oh, come on. You're a male. It's just the way you are wired.
Nothing to be ashamed of, not when females are willing.
So what's your pleasure, boss?
I'm a doctor. Just relax.
I can wear a Freudian slip.
I found new places to take your temperature.
I can teach you left and a Latvian rotato torture.
All of you bitches out now. Right is mine. This is for calling me Sparky. And this is for Fluffy. And this is for Buckwheat. Whatever that means.
Hey, guys, I think I'm onto something.
Stay back. We're only taking our equal share of food.
Just trying to.
If he comes any closer, shoot him.
Look, don't make me crazy, okay? It's hard enough trying to.
People have been stealing food, so we're only going to take...
I don't care about Cracker.
We do. We want
Food.
Is
Is that what this is all
So
about?
we're only going to take...
I don't care about Cracker.
We do. We want
Food. Where's my ice cream? Is that what this is all about?
So we're only going to take...
I don't care about
Savage,
Cracker.
I know almost every food in the galaxy.
Where's my damn ice cream? Is that what
I
this is
have
all
no
about?
We're only
idea
gonna
what
take
Iris
the-
Green is.
Care about
Savage,
Cracker.
I know almost every food in the galaxy.
Where's my damn ice cream?
Scream for ice cream. That's Ben and Jerry's good humor.
Every food in the galaxy.
Where's my damn ice cream?
Kill her! Then we'll have pizza. And margarita shooters. Go on, Joe. Kill her. Do it. Do it.
Nobody has margaritas with pizza.
You're out of your mind, Joe.
I know.
Are you cracking up, little man? Crichton's the only one not affected by Drytix because he's deficient.
Who you calling deficient?
You! You've got the worst eyes out of all of us. That's why your optic nerves aren't being affected.
I got great eyes. They're better than 20/20, and they're blue.
You'll never be able to take over Moya. Pilot won't let you.
I have disabled his ability to spy on us up here. We just have to hope that the others keep him busy.
Hope. Your great plan depends on hope. What if Pilot pumps poison gas in here?
We have to risk it, don't we? In any assault, a soldier has to take chances and attack the nerve center.
Shut up! I don't need a grunt to give me a military assault lecture. I wrote military assault lectures.
You? The only thing you've ever assaulted is a plate of food cubes. Now shut up.
Have you any idea how much trouble you're in?
Yeah. Do you?
I like your style, hombre, but this is no laughing matter. Assault on a police officer, theft of police property, illegal possession of a firearm, 5 counts of attempted murder. That comes to $29.40. Cash, check, or credit card?
This thing is going completely off the rails.
It took time to discover being left behind was fine. Now I'm mine, and I'm calling to my senses. Reach up, fall down, crawl on, fly, and soar. The stars align tonight. close your eyes and imagine being free from your disguise. Latest lies that we're not what they have made us. Hear us, say us, fear us, fight and soar. The stars align tonight, ready for our fight. You know we stand for one million out of sight. Say goodbye to the sleepless night. Say goodbye to your fear of flying. Say goodbye to your wish to die. Say goodbye to the tears they made you cry. And so the stars align tonight, ready for our fight. You know we stand for 1 million out of sight. If you thought it was over now, no, we've just begun. Yeah, I swear we won't bow down. Standing
All right, kiddies, welcome to another exciting episode. I should turn up the camera. What happened to me? There I am. Hello. To another exciting episode of the original Red Pill Show. Hang on a minute. I'll turn this light out. Is that better? Oh, the camera makes me look fat. Oh, please take me off. I can't. I'm gonna cancel my camera. You're just gonna have to watch me. How's that? Can I do that? Stop video. No. Hide self view. There you go. I could do that. Anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of the original Red Pill Show, comrade. Today is March 13th, Friday the 13th. Oh, hang on a minute. All the witches are coming out today, so we have to celebrate that. As long as they have the papers to prove they are a witch. Hey, go. Whatever. Friday the 13th, 2020. This show is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please use at your own risk. This show is copyrighted by me and Freedom Revolution Network and cannot be reused, rebroadcasted in any way, shape, or form. Without my written consent, or you could just ask, I could really give a shit. Hey. Finally, the show is opinionated. That's why we do it. The host, especially me, callers, co-host Melissa, people that are naughty in the chat room, and Pamela with the gatekeeper, are and always will be opinionated under no circumstances whatsoever. Should opinions be taken as advice? If you're taking professional advice, we strongly encourage you to hire a license if required. Person it is or feel old timey. Hey man, hey, it worked. No, it's his name. Broadcasting live from the wonderful little town of Loveland, Colorado. Well, I don't know if the coronavirus is flying around, but I went to the doctor yesterday, and I'll share that. And whatever. So let's bring on Melissa. Are you there? Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you in today's neighborhood?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can.
What's happening?
It is Friday the 13th. It is morning, and I'm awake.
The last Friday the 13th, I got dumped.
Aw.
By an email.
That sucks.
I'm canceling our 30-30 agreement. Blah, 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 blah.
I usually have a good day on Friday the 13th.
Well, I better. It's going to start today for me. So, what's happening?
Well, are we jumping into our report, or are we talking about general?
I really? So now the show's scripted. Hang on a second. Friday the 13th, 2020. Show is now scripted as per Melissa. Okay.
Oh, whatever.
What? Right. What? I don't give a fuck. Sorry. No F-bombs. Girls the other night swore enough, more than I did. I was very proud of myself, actually.
That was a really good freaking show.
See,
we covered a whole lot.
All complaints must go to Melissa or Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Anonymous. It's kind of weird that happened because I thought, and I'm not complaining, so well, how come Tim's complaining about it? I'm not complaining. You're going to hear what you want to hear, whoever you are. But the whole format of the topic was interviewing Scarlett.
Yeah, it was supposed to be interviewing Scarlett.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just kind of mutated
Well,
it.
see, I mean, this show changes right to the last second.
Oh, of course.
Which, that spontaneity just came through, and I think it was a pretty good show. It almost, what was it, 3 hours, 3.5 hours? I don't know what the hell. I think it was 3.
I thought it was awesome.
Are you cleaning the house? What are you doing?
No, I had to let one of the dogs in.
Oh, okay. Why?
Yeah, they get up early with us, so.
Doesn't he know we do a show?
That would be the little one. And she really just doesn't care.
Oh,
She's a Chiweenie, so she really just doesn't care.
Might as well be a cat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
My cat is actually bigger than her.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, weak women, Tim. Who? Weak women? I beg to differ. Oh, and I went and saw my therapist yesterday, so I could get into that. I really don't fucking care. I mean, Tim, it's the HIPAA Act. Whatever. It's like, it's me. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Sorry. I can say whatever I want. And I will. But I'll share that too. But I don't know what you want to get into, first and foremost. I mean...
Well, I figured we could go through the numbers and where we stand right now.
Okay, well,
we had a lot happen in Colorado yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Well, before we get into that, at the risk of sounding narcissistic, at least on my end, and quite possibly yours, but before in the past, with the show, I encourage everybody to go to Freedom Revolution Network and under the original Red Pill Show, pull up the archives or YouTube and watch the video from, it was 2 nights ago, right?
Yes, it was Wednesday night, and I also did a replay on Thursday morning.
And it was me and Ron Tyler and Scarlett Anonymous and Red popped in and, of course, Melissa. And it was going to be an interview with Scarlett, but it turned into a big roundtable discussion with callers about the coronavirus.
Yeah, it was a really good show, and that show lasted for like 3.5 hours too.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was 2.5 or 3, so it's 3.5 hours.
Well, we started at 8.
Mm-hmm.
We got done at 11:30.
Right, and I had to put a time limit on it because it easily could have went 4 hours.
Oh, easily. Yeah. If you and I had not been exhausted from being up from 5:30 in the morning, I'm sure we could have gone another couple hours.
I know, it's like, listen, you people, I've been up since, actually I got up at 3 today, and I'll share why.
Ew.
Hey, don't. Okay, whatever. And trying to tell these people, because when I hit a wall and I'm tired, I just don't really want to do a damn thing. It's like, where's my bed? And that was an intense mental discussion that
it was.
I saw compliments, though, or at least one on the YouTube channel, that it was broken down to basic terms to Scarlet or from Scarlet, and it was. I mean, I don't think we said any psychobabble or gobbledygook to make everybody afraid or fear.
You're going to fear the coronavirus.
Well, we don't do it to instill fear. We do it to educate people on what's really going on.
Right. Which is a good segue into this. So this is off of InfoWars. So listen very carefully to what's being said here. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes tops. So listen to this. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Where is it? God damn it, I need a producer. Okay, hang on. Here we go. I can share this, right? Let me share. I'm going to share this.
As the coronavirus grows, President Trump has suspended travel between the United States and most of Europe as the World Health Organization finally declared the coronavirus a pandemic.
Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic. At the very start of the outbreak, we instituted sweeping travel restrictions on China and put in place the first federally mandated quarantine in over 50 years. We declared a public health emergency and issued the highest level of travel warning on other countries as the virus spread its horrible infection. We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight. These restrictions will be adjusted subject to conditions on the ground. There will be exemptions for Americans who have undergone appropriate screenings, and these prohibitions will not only apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo, but various other things as we get approval. Anything coming from Europe to the United States is what we are discussing. These restrictions will also not apply to the United Kingdom. We are all in this together. We must put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together as one nation and one family.
Of course, Democrat haters will hate as they claim President Trump has done nothing.
You have Donald Trump saying nothing to worry about here. Move along, just like the Chinese.
Yeah.
The 2019 to 2020 season of the NBA has also been suspended indefinitely after a player on the Utah Jazz tested positive, while the NCAA March Madness will go on with empty seats. Meanwhile, the first positive case involving a major celebrity has occurred in Australia as Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson offered this statement to Deadline. Hello, folks. Rita and I are down here in Australia. We felt a bit tired, like we had colds and some body aches. Rita had some chills that came and went, slight fevers too. To play things right as is needed in the world right now, we were tested for the coronavirus and were found to be positive. Hanks and his wife are in their early 60s, the beginning of the age group that is strongly being warned to restrict themselves from public places as much as possible. And we are gradually learning of the effects of the virus on the lungs of those infected. As the Daily Mirror reported, these X-ray images show the damage that coronavirus is doing to the lungs of people who catch the potentially deadly bug. Doctors have been able to identify specific abnormalities caused by COVID-19, and the patterns are similar to those found in patients from SARS and MERS outbreaks. The scans show patches in the lungs, and the experts' findings could lead to a quicker diagnosis and help to prevent infections. The first person to catch the flu-like illness had previously told how it hit him like a train and left him suffocating and in blinding pain for weeks. Meanwhile, as The Hill reports, federally funded tests conducted by scientists from several major institutions indicated that the novel form of coronavirus behind a worldwide outbreak can survive in the air for several hours.
Well, SARS was also a coronavirus in 2002. It infected 8,000 people and it killed about 775. It had a mortality of about 9 to 10%. So that's only 8,000 people. In about a year, in the 2.5 months that we've had this coronavirus, as you know, we now have multiples of that. The seasonal flu that we deal with every year has a mortality of 0.1%. The stated mortality overall of this, when you look at all the data, including China, is about 3%. It first started off as 2 and now 3. I think if you count all the cases of minimally symptomatic or asymptomatic infection, that probably brings the mortality rate down to somewhere around 1%, which means it is 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu.
Last week, Republican members of Congress were told that there's a good chance most people in the United States will eventually be exposed to the coronavirus. They weren't suggesting that most people will become infected or ill, but that most will encounter the virus. Meanwhile, the super rich, as expected, jet off to their bunkers, heading off to countries largely unaffected and taking their own personal doctors and nurses with them, just as we've been documenting for years. John Bound reporting.
So what'd you think of that?
Now it's easier than ever to have band.video on your iPhone. Simply go to band.video with your Safari browser. Then you
It doesn't want to be quiet.
at the bottom of the screen.
Stop, thank you. I had everything maximized and then it takes away the controls, so sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's getting real. It's getting really real.
But tell me that's not, I'm going to toot our own horn. I don't care. I mean, not verbatim in every word or topic that we discussed was on there, but I would say quite a few in what we were saying that was probably going to happen or be concerned about was repeated in that story. I saw that this
Oh
morning.
yeah.
Holy shit.
I got to pat our network on the back. We have been covering the virus since January.
Very beginning.
And I think we have done an excellent job because every time we say something, it seems like the next day they talk about it on the news and verify everything that we've said.
Right. And as far as the elites heading for their bunkers, and when I saw that part, I'm like, whoa. And the CEO's retiring, the guy from Disney, there's been a few other ones, and the ones we don't even know about that's not being publicized.
Right.
These people are heading for the hills. There's no doubt about it.
No, and the fact that it is now hitting our elites, that's kind of telling the rest of the country, wake up.
You want to hear something really far out there that I can't prove? There's no proof to be had here. But being Friday the 13th and then getting that email from that chick that said she was in the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, this was 6 months ago. And back then, I can't remember everything she said. But one thing I do remember is that she said she was pretty sure she was headed up to Canada for a little while. And I looked at the outbreak and the numbers in Canada, and I don't even think they're past 100.
In Canada?
Yeah.
I've got quite a few friends in Canada.
Yeah, hey there. Molson, I got the Molson virus, eh?
Looks like they only have 158 so far. They do have one death.
Oh, yeah. Well, compared to us, though, and everybody else in the world, I mean,
Well, just like us, they haven't been doing the testing.
well, it'll be interesting to see what the numbers are, but I'm like, that's very interesting. It could mean nothing, but it's really like, it's very interesting.
From what I've seen and heard, it seems like their shelves are getting wiped out. Yeah, that's right. Becca, Trudeau's wife got tested positive.
Really? Where's Becca? In Facebook?
Yes, we could go through and do our good mornings real quick. We have Heather and Becca and Mandy and Kathy. They're all over there in Facebook.
Nice.
And then we have Wandering American and Candace in YouTube.
Yeah. Where is everybody?
It's Friday the 13th. They're hiding.
Is that what it is? They're all, it's the end of the world. It's the coronavirus, the Wuhan coronavirus. And Friday the 13th. We're screwed.
Cassie says, what tests? Cassie is actually on an island up.
Good for her.
I want to say by Nova Scotia. Is that right, Cassie? I think that's right.
Is there a way you can put the phone number in Facebook chat or no?
Yes, I certainly can.
And then throw it in here. And then if people want to call in and talk about anything, I'd appreciate it. Doesn't matter to me. Don't be scared. Share.
We like having callers.
Go on a rant. I don't care. Just don't call me for anymore.
Did you see that our mountains are under a winter storm warning today?
No, I did not. That's wonderful.
Yes. Aspen, I'll tell you what, Aspen has gotten hit really hard with this virus.
I saw that.
That one lady in Australia, now I think we have like 9 or 10 up there.
If you want to get tested for the Wuhan coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, you can drive to Colorado and go through a drive-through self-testing station. It'll take you 3.5 to 4 hours. So,
Did you see they're cutting it down to 2 hours because they had so many people show up? They can only handle 100 to 150 tests a day. And they had so many people show up yesterday that they closed down an hour early. And now they are actually only going to be open for 2 hours a day.
I have a couple comments and perspectives on this, which are probably going to turn into a rant. I don't know which one to start with. But don't you think that this is a learning curve that should be paid attention to, and policies and procedures should be put in place for, God forbid, the next virus or pandemic or whatever?
Well, you would think so. I mean, we did have a global pandemic team, but they were fired after Trump came into office. So
okay, but why were they were fired before Trump came into office?
No, after.
So before
he wiped them out.
So before this pandemic.
Oh yeah, that was done, I believe, last year.
It's weird. Huh. I was going to say, if there was a global task force and that's the way they handled this, they should have been fired. But
yeah, no, they don't exist.
No, I know. That's what I'm getting clarification. So they were fired before this happened.
Ooh, Mandy said there was an unmarked vehicle on State Road 19 yesterday. Government tags, blackout with camera on the back. It's only a test for what's to come, testing the waters.
Probably a UN vehicle. It wouldn't surprise me any. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows right now?
Huh. Well, regardless of what's happened in the past or even now, I'm talking in the future.
Yeah.
And I would think the first sign of some crazy virus that comes out of nowhere like this, that day, all the balls should be set into motion after it's discovered what it is, so we can get tests and we can do this and we can do that, and forget all the conspiracy theories and forget about the patents on the virus and the patent on the vaccine and all that other crap, because that's all underlying stuff we can't deal with. We got to make these people accountable for handling this in a much better way. I don't care who the president is. I don't care what's going on. This is the health and safety of the entire planet, and I think it was handled, could have been handled better. And I'm saying that from a Monday morning perspective quarterback, but we were saying it right from the beginning. It's like, what are they doing about this? Why aren't they testing? Or they were letting people, they didn't test me yesterday, to my knowledge. I want to share that. I went to the doctor yesterday and they just asked me my symptoms, and then they said, well, you don't look like a coronavirus person or something like that. And okay, whatever. But I still think it should be
I think everybody who goes into the doctor right now should be tested immediately without prejudice.
Well, I was just going to say that. That's what I was going to say. It should be mandatory. I don't care what you're going into the doctor for. You get a mask, you sit your ass down, and you're being tested for the Wuhan. Now, if that's illegal or not, I don't know. I mean, I didn't get 3, 5, 10 vials of blood. I got one because this is the reason I went in. I have a swollen lymph node here on my right side of my neck, and it's gone down by deep gargling with Listerine because I've had this happen before in Illinois, and it popped up because of some allergy that I have that I don't know what I have. So, and I know that because after I gargled with Listerine, it went away. It took a little while, it went away, and then we moved to a different place out in the country. Because where we lived, it used to be a former nursery, and there was just shit flying around everywhere. So I don't even know what it would have been, but it was something. And then it went away, and I never got it again. I moved here. I got it for a brief time. I gargled, and I caught it before it got too big, but this time it got like the size of a small egg or a super.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
So I was gargling, but I only could deep gargle. This sounds sick. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say anything beyond just the description of it, but deep gargled, and it got to a point that I couldn't gargle deep enough because it's almost like on this. It's at the bottom of my jawbone, my joint jawbone right now, and I'm pointing at it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get deep enough, and I told myself, well, if this thing doesn't go down, I'm going to go to the doc. So I went to the doc yesterday. And they were really cool. They didn't treat me like, I had the plague or anything. And the guy behind the counter, the receptionist or whatever he was, a nurse or whatever he is, I took all my information and blah, 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 and asked me if I traveled within the last 7 to 10 days. And I said, no, out of the country. And I said, no. And this and that. And then I saw the doc, and he was cool. And, well, you've been running a fever? No, I've been tracking that every day. They took my blood pressure. It was fine. And coughing or whatever, and this and that. And I said, no, I'm fine. I'm not sick. I just got this thing I'm concerned about. So he goes, we'll do a strep culture. And I go, I don't have strep throat. He goes, well, we got to do it anyway. And I said, no, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you. I had strep throat when I was a kid every 2 weeks. I don't have strep throat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
I used to have it when I was a kid. It's got very, very specific symptoms.
Oh, it's just a bad sore throat that won't go away, and your throat's on frickin' fire, man. I mean, I know for me that's a symptom, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I went into the doctor when I was back in Illinois before I moved out here, maybe a couple years before that, and I went into the emergency care, saw the doc, and I said, I have strep throat. Oh, well, we'll have to do a test. I really highly doubt you have it.
It's like, no, I know I have it.
So, yeah, they shoved that thing down my throat, made me gag, whatever. Came back in 15 minutes and said, yeah, you got strep throat. And I said, yeah, I know when I have it, and I know when I don't. So anyway, they go, well, I don't mean to scare you, but have you smoked or are you a smoker? And I said, I smoked for 2 years, and I haven't smoked in over a year. And I go, and I had this thing before I smoked, so whatever. Okay, and I said, could dental work do this? Because I had a dentist do some work, and it could have seeped down in through my jaw or whatever and down into my lymph node or whatever. And he goes, well, when was that? And I go, 6 months ago. And he goes, no, I doubt it. I go, okay. So he goes, well, I don't mean to scare you, but we got to have a real conversation, and we got to draw some bloods. When's the last time you took a blood test? I go, or blood screen or fucking whatever they call it. I don't know, blood work is what he said. And I'm like, at least 10 years ago for a life insurance policy. Well, do you have a primary care physician? I go, nope. So he goes, all right, well, I don't want to scare you, but we're going to test for leukemia and this and that and blah, 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 blah. We got to cover all bases. So they did it yesterday. I think the results came in last night. They're going to call them today. But he gave me a steroid. And he goes, I want to get the inflammation down, and this should work. So I've never taken a steroid in my life, except an inhaler when I had an upper respiratory infection. It was worse than bronchitis, but right around there. It wasn't pleurisy, but it was a concern. And the doc told me, this is when my business was failing. It was just me. I was doing everything. And the doc looked at me. She had a type A personality, and she said, Tim, if you do not rest and slow down, you will be in the hospital with pneumonia. Okay. So I took like 10 days off, and I did, because I'd rather take 10 days off voluntarily than being on my back in the hospital.
Right.
So I had pneumonia, and it's no fun when I was 27 for those very reasons. I was working out in the morning, working all day, and just busted my ass, and I got sick, and I didn't slow down, and it threw me in the hospital. So I won't make that mistake again. But anyway, this doc gave me this steroid. I don't know what it was, progesterone or something. I don't know. But it's in tablet form, and He goes, the doc said, some people complain that it keeps them up at night. I don't know why, blah, 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 but there's really no side effects. So the pharmacist said the same thing. He said, I don't know why people say that. It may be not, but definitely take it with food. So I had dinner last night. I had 2. I woke up at 3 this morning, wide awake, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I will say this, at least for me, those freaking things gave me a ton of energy.
Well, yeah, they're steroids.
Well, I know, and I'm like, holy shit. I wake up, the alarm didn't go off. I go, I'm usually within 15 minutes of time of day if I wake up before my alarm goes off. And that's without looking outside because I got my shades closed, so I don't know if the sun's up, down, whatever. And I said, it's probably 4:15, and it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So I've been up since 3, and I'm ready to go. So whatever. So that was my doc experience. But they didn't treat me anything. They didn't take 10 vials of blood, blah blah blah. But they took one little one and shipped me off and said, we'll call you tomorrow, see how you're doing with your lab results. I'm like, okay, cool. That was it.
Well, yeah, you weren't showing. It's different symptoms than the virus. So
right. Yeah, but they didn't even take my temperature. They took my word for it, which I thought was kind of odd.
What?
Yep.
That's like one of the first things docs do whenever you go in is take your temperature.
I know you take. I was in rehab for 30 days in my early 20s, and I called her the vampirus, and she'd come in and draw blood and take vitals like clockwork, and they wrote them down. Yeah. And I'm really surprised that, and I'm not complaining. I just find it to be. It's not like I was lying or anything, but still, kind of like the strep culture. I'm like, I don't have strep. Well, we got to do it anyway. Well, why in the fuck wouldn't you take my temperature either? Even though I said it was fever. Well, whatever. I'm not putting them down. I'm not saying who they were. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, with what's going on right now, I think
you would think every precaution would be taken.
Yeah, standing operating procedures or whatever you want to call it should be done regardless of what the patient says. But what do I know? Whatever. So anyway, so that was my experience. And then I'm watching the stock market crash again yesterday, which was a good shocker. Right off the bat, at the pre-markets, the futures, it was down like 1,000, 1,500. Within 15 minutes, it went to $2,000 in the negative in loss, and the circuit breaker popped to stop trading.
Yeah, I saw that it popped again yesterday.
Yeah, it popped twice, I guess, because I had to go to work. Because I'll sit and watch that all damn day. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, and then I see Twitter and all these other things. People are going batshit crazy, running to the store now.
You're a little late.
That's what I said, and they're all. Oh, so this is a funny story. So my son had to go. He has a girlfriend, and they just like buy food when they eat, like per meal. They don't buy a lot of groceries. So he goes, Dad, I got to go to Jewel, which is Safeway out here. It's the same company, Albertsons or whatever. But he goes to Jewel out there, and he goes, I went by Walmart. It was packed. And I ain't going there, so I'm going to go to Jewel. I go, okay, whatever. So he goes in there, and he gets what he needs. And there's a guy in front of him in line. Now, my son is very calm. He's changed dramatically. He had PTSD, and he thought everybody wanted not to kill him, but I mean, wanted to hold him down or were against him, or everybody was his enemy and all that crap. And he's really, really gone the other way. Passive, respectful, very great guy, great kid. But everybody has their limits. Okay. So I go, so how was the store? He goes, well, I yelled at a guy. And I'm like, for what? He goes, well, the toilet paper it's nothing new. The toilet paper aisle was empty. And this guy had 2 shopping carts full of toilet paper. So he looks at the guy and he goes, excuse me, sir, but how many assholes do you have? He's like, well, why? What are you talking about? It's like, other people need that toilet paper and you're taking it all. And go, for what? And he goes, why aren't you buying any food? Because if you're not eating any food or don't have any food to eat, you're not going to shit anyway. So why do you need the toilet paper? So I'm like, oh my God, Josh. So he told me that story. And it's like, you know what I said this morning? Here's a marketing idea for you or for anybody out there that does specifically marketing. You would have to be a complete moron not to contact any toilet roll paper company and get your logo or your product on their goddamn product in all their packaging, especially if it has anything to do with related to coronavirus. Right? Hello? Did you hang up on me? How rude. Are you gone? I'm talking to myself. The fuck? What happened?
Oh, it helps if I don't hit mute and forget to unmute it. I was totally talking to you.
I didn't hear nothing you said.
Well, that's because I had mute on.
Stop hitting that button. I'm going to take it away from you.
I like my mute button.
That's fine. You can, I think I can see when you do that, actually.
Yeah, you can. It shows up in the lower left-hand corner of my little
eye
screen.
on you because you're an irresponsible mute button person. I manage you. Just so I can mute you there. Can I mute you? I mute you. See? Are you talking? Because I can't hear you. Okay, now go ahead. Talk.
That was not nice.
See how you like it. You can't say nothing. Shut up. Okay, there you go. See? No talkie for you. Silence. Okay, I won't do it again. There you go.
You're having way too much fun with your buttons.
Hey man, I'm telling you, I am so high on energy today.
Are you trying to push my buttons?
Here, hang on, I can do it. Hang on, here we go. There we go. So anyway, I was so high on energy today that's where I'm coming from. And then I picked up the guitar earlier and I was ripping on that, and that really bumps up my neck. Oh, you unmuted yourself. How did
I unmuted myself?
You're grounded. No, you cannot touch that button. Shame on you. You're grounded. No phone, no going out, no dates, no movies, no coronavirus. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome very much. Did you see my survival kit? I had that on my
Yes, I did.
I had my Patriot Food Supply and Lysol. I only could put on there what I could fit to make the headphones stay on. I'm like, oh, let's just grabbing shit. And I'm like, okay, I'll use this. I'll use that.
I'll tell you what. Okay. So one of the companies that I work with, we use Skype for everybody to communicate together. And one of our ladies is going to the grocery store this morning, and she can't find anything. And of course, one of the other people said, "Don't forget toilet rolls."
Yeah, grab the toilet paper.
Good luck finding it.
I mean, what's next? Paper clips? I mean, I don't even want to think what people would do with those. But really, I kind of get it. I really, hygiene or whatever. But
Well, I get it, but geez, there's alternatives for toilet paper. There is no alternative for food.
Right. I don't know, whatever. But you know what? Why fight stupidity? That's why I said, I put it on LinkedIn this morning. I go, for all you marketing geniuses, you should come up with a marketing agreement with a toilet paper company, because this isn't going to stop for a while.
No.
So if you can get your name on something, people look at it buying toilet paper. Maybe a psychiatrist for getting your fucking head examined. I don't know, but something on there.
Okay. So
What?
going to the psychiatrist to have your head pulled out of your ass, so that way you can finish cleaning it off with that toilet paper.
Right. Right. And then underneath that, Patriot Food Supply, dumbass. Get it? Go see the doctor, figure your shit out, and go buy some food and forget the toilet paper.
Right.
God.
There are alternatives for your butt.
Or even better, get it imprinted on the toilet paper so you look at it every time you're going number 2. I don't know. Something.
I saw a funny meme yesterday, which, of course, me growing up in the South, it was actually very relevant. Talking about how girls from the country have been drip drying for centuries out in pastures.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need toilet paper. We we know how to drip dry. We know all of our alternatives.
You just use a horse's or cow's tail. What's the problem?
I don't think I would want to get that close to a horse's ass.
Let alone his feet. Yeah, that's a good point. Cow wouldn't mind though.
Did you know they really do cow tip? It's
Yeah, I
really
know.
it's really sad.
I'm from the Midwest. I heard all about it. So yeah, they were doing it out there too. So I went to the shrink. Yes, you want to elaborate on anything, or are you gonna have to mute you, or are you gonna mute yourself, or what were you saying when I was saying all that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
I would like to just get the stats out there this morning.
Okay, go ahead.
We are up to 800, if I can talk,
That, that,
1,832 cases and 41 deaths so far. We only have 31 recovered. So right now, our deaths are outweighing our recovered. And from what I figured out last night, at least for Colorado, we are averaging about a 10%, a little over 10%, over a 10% rate of positive tests for those who have been tested. And the overall, remember how it was 3.4% was the overall world death rate? That's now up to 7. So.
What a shocker.
Yeah. But yeah, I did want to get those stats out there this morning because I've been trying to keep everybody aware of the stats. And Colorado, we're up to 49 cases.
Of course we are. And what, a week it was what? Single digits? A week ago, single digits, or 2 weeks at the most?
I think a hair test, but they all go.
But yeah, those are, yeah, we're growing exponentially now. Yeah, it's like they said, we are about a week and a half, 2 weeks behind Italy. And so we're gonna be hitting those numbers as long as they do the testing.
And it's
but we're still low. We still don't have the testing.
It's just the flu, Melissa.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll translate for all the people going to buy toilet paper. Toilet paper. Or mediocrity, sorry. So as long as you guys understand that, do your homework, use alternative media sources, and figure it out yourself. But I know we had some people in the chat room, and I'm not going to name who, from the other night that were pretty much saying that we were freaking crazy. So.
Oh, they can think we're freaking crazy all they want. At least we're going to be prepared for this, and we're going to have the right mental attitude, to be able to get through it.
Right.
And yeah, Cassie just brought up that thousands of schools are closing. Yeah, it's our list of closures looks like we're having a blizzard right now.
Good morning, Heidi. Yeah, I know, but it's just the
morning, Heidi.
Oh, so I went to the Budweiser Event Center yesterday because I did some work there, and they got some type of basketball championship there, whether it's high school or college kids or whatever. But at the last second, and mind you, it's a championship game. It's like a final. So all these people got to come from out of state and watch their kids play. Well, at the last second, they wouldn't let any spectators in. And did that piss a lot of people off? I guess they let some people in. I don't know the exact number because people are so fucking pissed. So they did let some people in. But what that number was, I don't know. But when I walked in the door, they had security right there. Oh, can I help you? Why are you coming in here? And I go, because I need to do some work. So they wouldn't even let people in the building.
Wow.
Yeah, while the game was going on. And then they started canceling stuff left and right. I think not the Wolves at Chicago. What's the name of the team up here? The Eagles, Colorado Eagles. Yeah,
they've got a bunch of them.
No, Colorado Eagles play up here. Their games are suspended. The NHL, NASCAR, and the events coordinator there was telling me, Tim, every time I see an email for canceling something, there's another one right after it. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but they're canceling these big events.
Well, they're working just like with Italy. They are working us up to the lockdown.
Yeah.
They are taking things away slowly So that way, when it goes to full lockdown, people aren't completely losing their minds.
What do you mean I can't leave, man? What are you, crazy? I gotta go to the dispensary, man. It's a weekend. What? I don't know. You're gonna have to get your pot delivered by Amazon.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they're gonna be making a killing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, a lot of stocks were rebounding today, and I don't think the market's hit the bottom. Actually, Bitcoin hit $3,000 overnight, and I'm like,
wow,
oh my god,
that was a huge drop. Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about it was almost 10 grand.
That's correct, and I would say within a week or 10 days, it's dropped to $3,000 last night, and I get paid today, and I'm like, man, I'm jumping in tomorrow, and it went right back up in the fives. So it's 5 something right now. And I'm like, damn it. Cause I wanted to buy more than I did, but I bought some cause it's on sale now. But yeah. I think Bitcoin will rebound a lot better than the market, but the market, it'll go up. It might go up a little bit more, but there's just no way in hell the supply chain or what.
My little stocks that I have that I put my $200 into. Mm-hmm. Down to $31.55.
You're buying dinner. You're rich.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
And you would think my weed stocks would be going up because everybody's stocking up on weed, but no.
Far out, man. I'm gonna go get some. I still have my shit in the freezer. So
good place to keep it, actually.
Well, I did that because of you. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep. By your recommendation. Pot tips from Melissa. That'll be a topic. How's that? And we never.
Oh, that could be fun.
Okay, well, let's do it. All right, so I'll get off of this coronavirus crap, but I'm going to get on another rant for these wonderful, wise people that have decided to outsource our jobs and our parts and our food and our medical supplies and just.
Oh, yeah, you mean all that stuff that's getting ready to be completely blocked?
Yes, completely blocked and unavailable. Here.
And why we're out of toilet paper.
And why we'll be on permanent vacation for God knows how long. How long do you think it's going to be? 30? Or is it going to first be, well, you got to stay there for 10 to 14 days and then get tested again? Or you think it's going to be 30 days? Or what do you think it's going to be?
My opinion is they're going to start us with 2 weeks. And because that's not going to be long enough.
No, it's not.
They are going to they're going to extend it. They're not going to give us like, okay, you're going to be locked down for 2 months. They're going to put us in for 2 weeks and then they'll put us in for another 2 weeks. Yeah. And I think that's how it's going to go.
So do I. And then it'll be day by day after 30 days.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation.
Depending on your area, depending on, what's going on in your particular area.
But you're obviously not going to be cleared until you test negative. So where's the test kits?
Well, yeah. And I still don't understand why we're not using the ones from the WHO and... who knows? We just got to use our own and screw everything up.
That's what I'm saying. This thing has been so mismanaged and unprepared that it's like from day 1, day 2, at least a week into it, I would have been keeping an eye on this thing like you would not believe. So, but whatever. So, all right. But all these geniuses that decided to outsource our jobs and our products, and I don't care what they say, it was for higher profit margins. No other reason whatsoever. So now we're doing this, and I would voice my opinions on this when I was running my company, and boy, that did not go over well with people. But I'm just like, you know what? The way it is, that's the way it is. And I go, what if our products and supply chain is interrupted by a war? Then of course I'm even crazier, because that's the only plausible thing I could see. If we go to war with China, they're going to tell us to get lost, keep all the crap and the businesses over there, and tell you to F off, and we're at war and tough shit. And I still think that's going to happen eventually, but I don't think it was going to happen the way that it did with the coronavirus. So now I ask all the CEO and CFOs and all the people with MBAs, and I'm not being an asshole. I'm just like, I'm asking you people that you made all those decisions, the people on Wall Street, the elites, everything else. What do we do now? Because you took all our jobs away and you made all these domestic products, imports and exports, and now we can't get them. And then the tariff thing pissed them off. And then now this thing pissed them off. And they got all our crap for us to get better to address an emergency pandemic medical situation. And they're pretty much telling us to F off. So not to mention that the stock market's being damaged because the market is usually dictated by demand of things. Supply hasn't been an issue for forever, as far as I know. In some areas and industries or whatever, yeah. Sectors, yeah, okay. That's supply and demand. But 90% of the crap that we buy is from China or some other country, but specifically China, including medical supplies. And they're telling us to go piss up a robe. So what do we do? The demand's going to go up, at least for the medical things. Demand's going up for food and everything else, and toilet paper, because people are losing their goddamn mind, and everything else that we got to buy. People are going to be sitting at home. You can't tell me they're not going to go on Amazon and go shopping and sit around to kill time or whatever. But in the meantime, the supply chain has been severely damaged, if not halted. So we can't buy anything, which is going to drive the prices sky high.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just the beginning, in my opinion. And even Goldman Sachs said you can forget about any substantial gains and profits from companies in the stock market because it's going to take that long to recover from this.
Oh, yeah. First quarter's done. First quarter, everybody's toast.
I think they said the rest of the year. I think they're throwing, they're saying 2020 is just done. It's a wash. There's no way that anybody can make any money because it's too much, too many losses. There's some companies that are ready to go BK because they're so highly leveraged in their credit and their loans that they can't pay those back. And some of these people's stocks have dropped more than 50 to up to 95% in value. So Kramer was on there yesterday, and I don't like him to begin with. Like, well, I know more than the federal government and the Federal Reserve and blah, 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 blah. And we need, they wouldn't call it a bailout. They go, we need support from the federal government because companies and businesses shouldn't go bankrupt because people are sick. And then somebody, I don't know if he said this, but somebody said, well, it's not really about the money now. It's about surviving and everybody being able to be prepared for this. It's like, where was that thinking when you shoved all of our products and shit and to buy to China and everybody else across the world, and not to mention our jobs? You didn't give a flying fuck about us then and our well-being. Why are you doing it now? You know why? Because your ass is in trouble now. That's why you're doing it.
Well, I'll add to that Rayak. Yeah. In the fact that, okay, I used to have a vape shop where I sold e-liquids and the different rigs to use with them. Mm-hmm. And when they opened up our market to the Chinese, well, that's where most of us got our products from. So when they entered the market directly, they were able to give those wholesale prices that we were getting in order to supply the U.S. And completely killed our market.
Yep.
And now, ain't nobody gonna be able to get anything because all of our markets have been taken over.
Exactly. And I get all of that because I've watched this whole evolution or de-evolution or whatever you want to call it of outsourcing our jobs and where we buy our products. It's good for us because, well, for one thing, we're exporting our inflation because of our dollars are going over there, not staying here, which keeps inflation down. But another thing is that the labor's cheap. There's no EPA with Wandering Americans is referring to in the chat room and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, they can make stuff a lot cheaper, which means we can buy it cheaper. But now what are we going to do? Because we can't get anything. We can't produce it here. So I think there's a defining moment or an epiphany or whatever you want to call it, a fork in the road right now for these people that made that decision that affected our lives 20, 30 years ago and is definitely affecting them now. How is this any of our faults?
It's not our fault.
Okay,
it's our government's fault for allowing us to, I mean, remember the old campaigns of Buy American?
With who?
Of Buy American?
Buy American. Yeah, I do.
We don't have that anymore.
Well, no, because you're accused of being a racist and a protectionist, and it's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Well, and I mean, Buy American, all that means is, support your local economy, support your small businesses, support all of our companies instead of sending all of our money overseas.
Yeah, which is a multifaceted issue, like I said, but regardless of that. So these people that made that decision, and if we were on the air 20 years ago or 25 years ago and said, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to do that. There's going to be a point of no return. China is a communist country, dumbasses. They're an enemy. And if I'm pissing people off, too bad. That's the reality of the situation. They're a communistic country. Okay? They really don't care. I'm not saying every single Chinese person in China, but I'm saying for the government. And
no, but it's the government.
Yes. I'm sure the Chinese people are wonderful people.
They are. People have nothing to do with their government.
Exactly.
They don't choose their government.
Right.
They were born there.
Right.
Guess what? They didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Right.
Those people that sit there and say, well, if you don't like it, just move. Not that easy.
But if you think for 1 minute, no, it's not. But you think, well, they have to revolt, and I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to change. But if greedy business owners and corporations want a higher stock price and higher profits at the risk and sacrifice of people losing their jobs here and risking your supply chain, and if we would have said, listen, if you do this, when we go to war or whatever happens, I'd never say a coronavirus, what the hell that would be. But if something happened where our supply chain was stopped right there, stopped. Oh, that'll never happen. What are all the ships going to sink, or is the ocean going to dry up? It's like, you hear all this smart ass comments. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. Something's going to trigger that. And what that something is, I can't tell you, but the consequences are going to be devastating. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't think any person on the planet that made this decision and enforced it and made it their policy to put people out of work here and buy cheap shit from China and bringing it back here and not producing or manufacturing our needs here, never would have thought this would have happened. Or if they did, they go, the chances of that are like getting the flu, 0.01%, 1%, whatever. If it happens, we'll deal with it. No, this is 95%, dumbass. So what are we going to do now? As we sit here and bust our ass or get minimum wage jobs and 3 jobs a day, and you're a single mom or 2 parents raising kids, and you can't pay your bills because your good payable skilled job went over to China. Not to mention, we can't get anything because we don't make it here anymore. So this is a perfect point. This is a defining moment for these wonderfully smart people, way smarter than we are, to say, look, if it happened once, it'll happen twice. And you mark my words, God forbid, the next one's going to be a war. So if these people don't learn by this lesson and go, they're not going to, because, well, it's all about the profit.
Sorry, I couldn't help that. It just kind of came out.
Okay. It's all about the profits.
It is. We've been so profit driven in this country for so long. We don't have any kind of connection to reality anymore.
But if they don't address this and go, look, okay, you know what, forget that, because the billions of dollars that are being lost from just this, the market has dropped more than it ever did in the meltdown, not to mention 1987, when that crash happened. So it's going to happen again. So, but they're going to go, well, nobody else is doing that. We got all our businesses built and factories over there. And what are we supposed to do with those? You know what? I don't really care. So if that's what you're going to say to me, then you mark my words too. This is a perfect time. If we stay with true capitalism and there's not bailouts, which there's going to be. Well, we can't let those companies fail. It's like, no, you should let them fail. And if you don't, you're going to give more power to Bernie Sanders, you dumbass, because now you're doing more corporate socialism. First, you did it in the bailout of 2008. Now you're going to do it in 2020. We're cooked. We're cooked. The millennials are going to go, fuck you guys. And they should. Forget it. I had problems. You bailed out your buddies in Wall Street. Now it's time to bail me out. And if you won't do that, I'm going to elect somebody that will. So you're feeding the monster.
Well, look what they just did. They just injected over $1 trillion into the market trying to save the stocks.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, great. They just lost it again. They just lost $1 trillion.
Right.
Literally, just throw it away.
Yeah. So
what could that have done for the people?
They don't, yeah, you know this as well as I, they don't care about the people. If they did my business, I should have went to the government and go, look, I went through a divorce. An employee started their own business while they're working for me. They were undermining me, took 90% of my business. They got them and I'm screwed. So I need a bailout. And I'll be go, well, what about all the back taxes I owe? And my ex-wife sticking $56,000 of payroll taxes in my ass that I didn't know about. What about that? Oh, you have to pay that. Gee, thanks. That's not, I mean, that's capitalism. That's fine. That's capitalism. If you succeed, you succeed. If you fail, you fail. This bullshit bailout crap has to stop.
There ain't nobody bailing my ass out when,
yeah, I get it.
I mean, how many people do you think are buying website builds right this moment?
A ton, because that's the only way they're going to be able to survive.
But they're not, because they don't want to spend the money, or they've already spent it trying to stock up. They are not spending money right now on things. My industry suffers tremendously. Anytime money starts going short, every holiday season, from November till about February, my business drops off to almost nothing. Anytime there is money to be saved, getting something built online is people's last freaking thought. And right now, you're right. That's exactly what they should be doing.
That should be their first priority.
But they're not. Just like in.
Well, then they're stupid.
Well, it's a normal thing though, because
I understand that. I get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, whenever you're tight on money, the last thing you want to do is spend money on marketing or doing those things. But that's actually what's going to help you make money to get past it.
I don't know if it's such a marketing. I'm not a huge marketing fan. But that's just my industry. I'm not. But if you have a brick and mortar traditional business, regardless of how small or big it is, and there's a book that was called Clicks and Mortar, in way back in 1999, 2000, when all this stuff took off in the .com bubble and all that crap. See, people made the mistake of going, okay, forget it. We're just going to forget our buildings and we're going to sell everything online. That was a mistake. It should be a hybrid that progressively has gone to, not all, but some, like Apple. Apple was all ordering the shit online, and they started putting in the stores that people go into. They did it backwards, and I agree with that. But if you don't have a system in for e-commerce, I don't care what your business is. If you don't have an e-commerce system, you are just stupid.
Yeah.
Period. Because you should have that infrastructure and platform rolling already, regardless of how much money it's bringing in. If it's breaking you even, that's fine. If it's creating a little bit of a loss, that's fine. But if you're still posting a profit from doing business the traditional way, that's fine. But figure it out, because if everybody gets bailed out now, and this is what may happen. Government's going to intervene, give them all their money, business as usual. Nobody's going to learn a lesson. And the people that don't get bailed out have to survive. And in my opinion, the only way they're going to survive is create jobs here, create factories here, create needs that we need, the stuff that we talked about. And they got to get online as in e-commerce. So that way all bases are covered.
Yeah.
But that won't happen. That's capitalism, because that's where the market's going to go to. But no, we can't let our rich friends and all the dumbasses that went over to China for greedy profits and tax breaks and everything else they do. No, we're going to bail them out because we just can't let them fail, because they're our friends. And everybody that has to live by rules of capitalism and don't get corporate socialism are going to go into your sector. But then the momentum is going to be taken away because there's no reason to do it, because they're going to bail out their fucking buddies. So what are you supposed to do? Sorry. I mean, shit drives me nuts.
I complain about that kind of stuff all the time.
Oh.
And people don't realize that you know, while more and more businesses are getting some kind of an online presence, most don't even think about it. They just don't.
Nah, it drives me freaking bananas because it's not that difficult to figure out when things are left alone and we're under regulated capitalism, but not regulated capitalism with corporate socialism. We're not. You mark my words. After all this shit, the rich are going to get richer, and the people that have trying to start a business and all the entrepreneurs, they're going to invest their capital that they saved. They ain't going to get a loan because liquidity is going to tighten up next to zero. So you're not going to get a loan from anybody. So you're going to have to put your house on the line, cash out all the equity out, or use a venture capitalist at 50% interest rate or whatever the deal is, and they're going to go where they should go. But that's all going to get yanked away from them, and it's all going to come tumbling down, and they're going to lose everything. But if they would leave it alone and let it go the way it's supposed to go and let market dictate, there's a huge opportunity for people to start a business right now. What that would be, I have no idea. But it definitely should have an online e-commerce presence in it. So, and a domestic supply chain with people working here and not halfway across the world, and they let some fucking virus escape and then tell us to shove it in our ass when we need medical supplies. Screw you. Sorry. I mean, fuck. I'm fucking pissed. I'm sorry. This is
No
so
worries.
stupid because we're the ones that suffer, Mel.
We put ourselves into this position so regularly now. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
it's honestly, it's laughable if it wasn't so sad, because we are so screwing ourselves. You know, I mean, what's going to happen if China just says, okay, we're done. We need all our medicines for us. And so, sorry, y'all are just screwed.
That's what they're going to do. And then they're going to
yeah.
finally realize that they don't need to buy our crap either.
They've
I mean,
already
the-
realized that.
The reality of it is
The whole
that
world has.
we need them more than they need us for more
Mhm.
reasons than you can possibly imagine. But
Which is
once-
part of the reason we take bad deals.
Exactly. So, but when the Chinese finally realize that they can be self-sustaining and not rely on anybody else, and they really finally realize that the other part of the entire world, including us, relies on them, anywhere from buying our treasury notes and everything else to their crappy products because they're so cheap in more ways than one. They're going to go, you know what? We don't need all of you. We got 8 billion people here. You can go get lost. And I'm being nice on that one.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
need you anymore. And then where's that going to lead us with no manufacturing jobs here in this country? Because we gave them to them because that was just simple first grade math showing, well, we could pay Bob here that's been here for 3 generations in the car plant for 2-3 generations up in Michigan. Well, you know what? Screw him. We can pay Wang Wu Dong Wang Chong in fucking China and pay him whatever we're going to pay, and we'll make $1 million. But the theory with that is, well, the Chinese can't afford your cars. And if you think you're going to bring them back over here and sell them to us and we don't have a job or a minimum wage job, who's going to buy the car? Dumbass.
Who can afford a new car on minimum wage?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who's going to buy your product?
Nobody.
You think the CEO and upper management's going to buy a Chevy or a Ford? No offense. No, they're going to buy a Beamer or Ferrari or a Lamborghini or whatever because they can, because they're making tons of money because they're sucking it from this country in people's pockets and sucking it from China.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. I was so pissed about this stuff when they first started doing it 25 years ago. Like, wow, this is a system of failure. And
It really is.
I never thought in a million years that the way that this turned out is happening now. But now, what are we going to do? What are you going to tell your kids when you can't buy groceries? Because there isn't any, or the shelves are full, but the prices have quadrupled because the supply chain's been freaking stopped.
And that's what we're looking at right now. Is
I know.
we're already looking at those disruptions starting.
And the market's going to go into shitter even more because they're not going to make any money because they're so overrun with debt. They got their payments just like we do. And that's the only thing when corporations are compared to real people. and I say real people or us peasants, we got bills to pay too. But you know what? We're not going to get income either because we can't go to our job because you either outsourced it or they shut everything down from this coronavirus because you decided to partner with China, a communistic country that could give two flying fucks about us.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry if I'm wrong. Fine, but I don't think so.
I'm agreeing with you.
No, I don't. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general because not everybody's gonna. I'm not saying that I'm right or I want to be right, but after what's just happened, tell me that I'm wrong.
Exactly.
And I'm not the smartest guy.
We're watching it happen before our very eyes. We are literally watching all those things that we have. I don't know how long you've been bitching about it, but I've been bitching about that kind of stuff for years.
I just said 20, 25 years. Yeah.
You know, and it's now everybody is starting to quote unquote wake up. You know, hello, welcome to our show.
Right. And Bill's bringing up the whole currency war thing because we went off the gold standard. So all the Chinese do is have to lower the value of their currency, which makes their stuff cheaper. And a strong dollar, a strong currency is good for a country. But if you have a cheap currency in China and a strong one here, it takes more or yuan or whatever the hell they call it, the renminbi, to buy American products. They're going to go, why should I buy your crap when I can buy that crap here? Because it's cheaper because the currency is devalued. So it's just a big mess. I can't wait until inflation. I mean, I'm not looking forward to this, but when inflation goes at a hyperbolic rate here or hyperinflation, people are going to see their IRA and retirements like, oh my God, look, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Well, yeah, but you know what? A roll of frickin' toilet paper costs you $100. So you're not making any money. Your purchasing power is being eroded. I mean, it's just it's a big game. It's a big deception.
Yeah, it really is, you know, and unfortunately, there's really not anything that the quote unquote average Joe can do about it.
Because they don't know. They don't know what's going on.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't even see that it's happening, let alone actually doing something about it.
Well, they don't want to see it, and then they all get butt hurt. Oh, you don't like Chinese people because what's xenophobia? Is that like you don't like people because they're foreign? Because I looked that up and it's going around. Is that what that means?
I've always heard it more in relation like to religions.
Religions. So if it's a different religion.
But I'm actually
looking it up.
I am going to pull up the textbook definition.
I did this textbook. I just saw this morning and real quick. It's if you don't like people that are different or different beliefs or beliefs, then you're a xenophobia or whatever. I'm saying, okay, whatever. But that's what you'll be called. You don't like.
I like how the definition actually specifically excludes agoraphobia. I'm not in it. So xenophobia is a fear of foreigners or strangers, social phobia, any phobia other than agoraphobia associated with situations in which you are subject to criticism by others as fear of eating in public, public speaking, things like that. Okay. So yes, essentially it is fear of foreigners.
Yeah. Okay. But that's what you'll be accused of, or protection, and blah blah blah, yada yada. It's like, oh, we're making those people's lives better because of capitalism. Oh, really? As you sit here unemployed because they got your job? What is wrong with you?
Right?
Really? Why don't you go buy groceries today and toilet paper on top of that, and bring it home instead of giving it to your family and your kids? Give it to the neighbor, which would be a really nice gesture. But then don't bitch that you can't eat. I mean, I don't get it. Why are we transferring our wealth and everything and our livelihood or lowering it to another country to make them better? It's up to them.
It's frustrating.
Well, because now results are coming and it's getting really real. It's getting really real because it's affecting everybody's life here that are paycheck to paycheck like me.
Well, yeah. And that's most of our country.
I know that.
You know, 40% of our country cannot come up with $400 for an emergency. But look at what's happening now. We're just screwed. You know, I worry tremendously about all those low-income families, schools closing. That's the only place some of those kids get food.
Yeah, or even a life sometimes. I mean, some kids don't have the greatest home life.
Well, I can tell you that school was my escape as a kid.
There you go. So, well, you know what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I say, everybody in Congress, you just lost your job, and we're going to hire everybody in China or the cheapest labor people that can represent this country.
We're going
in our
to
states,
replace you.
and you're going to get paid $1 a frickin' day. Because you know what? That's what you're doing to us. Well, you can't do that. That's, number one, you just can't do that. Number two, they don't know our culture and our belief system. But yeah, no shit. That applies to the labor force too, you dumb shits. You just can't take our job and hire somebody halfway across the world and expect them to do the same quality job for the same reasons, because they're not the same people. This is the way it is.
Yeah.
This is the way it is. Ugh. All right, that's it. I'm beating a dead horse. I'm just really concerned because people are going to be severely affected by this in a negative way.
Well, yeah, and it's going to be widespread, and this is a time when we should be looking out for our neighbors. But it's going to, unfortunately, I think that it's going to come down to people being complete assholes.
No. Never. You mean going to the store and buying 2 shopping carts full of paperwork? Or paperwork.
Paperwork.
Paperwork. Sometimes
hey, it is paperwork.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with you filling up 2 shopping carts and you got 1 butthole? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
People are going to be really selfish, and it's going to be dog eat dog. And I'm going to blame it a lot on selfish, greedy, increased profit corporations that everybody's expendable, and here's your rubber watch and your pension if you're lucky enough, if you didn't lose half of it already, and go home and retire or go home and find another job. Really. I mean, I really can't blame people for sometimes being assholes, because that's the way they're treated.
Well, yeah.
But that defines your character, though.
That's something else that, you bring up the expendable factor.
Which everybody is, but.
And that's something that I've been seeing a lot of online.
Really?
Oh, well, it's only hurting people who are old or who have underlying conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I happen to be one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, y'all are just telling me that I'm expendable. I don't matter.
A friend told me that that's what Italy is allegedly doing, that if you're around 80 and you're bad shape and there's no way you're going to recover, they don't waste the treatment on you. They save a younger person.
Yeah.
Now, where's the humanitarianism in that? And God forbid, if the government really gets, our government really gets control of the healthcare system, and you don't really need that. An insurance company may make the same decision. We're not going to put any more money into this person because they're going to die anyway.
Hey, it's
really?
the train.
So now you're going to, yeah, there it is. So you're going to tell me who's going to live and die? I think everybody has the right to healthcare until you die. Whatever.
Yeah.
Look at fucking crazy world, man. It's just a crazy. You know what? And you're a grandma. I'm a grandpa. I mean, I'm 56, so I guess I fall into that thing. They're saying if you're past 60 and you have pre-existing health conditions, whatever that means, you're probably going to be in trouble and you may die. So, but you're someone's mother, you're someone's sister, you have family, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? That doesn't matter to anybody because you're expendable and nobody gives a flying fuck. And you're probably
because they're healthy.
You're probably sucking off the system anyway. So now you're not going to be expense to the government. So who really fucking cares? Really? That's what I see. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying that's what I see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm telling you from a first person's perspective that's exactly what I see.
Yeah, that's just evil.
And I mean, when I come back at somebody, I'm like, okay, so basically you're telling me that my life doesn't matter.
No.
And they're just like, they don't have anything they can say back to it. I have ended so many conversations like that Because once I say that, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, did I?
No, of course you didn't, dumbass.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
you're-
screw you, because I am part of that vulnerable group. And no, you're not going to make this out to be absolutely nothing and essentially say that I could fucking fall over and die tomorrow. And it wouldn't make any friggin' difference.
Not to
It
them.
would make a difference to my
Nope.
family.
No, we got to save a taxpayer that can still work and steal their fucking money out of their paycheck. You're an expense. We don't need you. It's all bullshit. It's all about money. This whole thing's about money. That's it. It's not about quality of life and equity and doing a great job and having 3 generations working in a car plant in Michigan and doing a great job and having a retirement and blah, 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 because all that was a lie because they took it from you. And they gave it to John Wan Long Dong Blue Chan or whatever in China. And now they're saying, the government's saying, you know what, screw you. We don't need it anymore. We got all the wealth from you people. You can go to hell. People are going to die here because they're going to keep all the medical stuff for them, which I can't really blame them. But you know what? You're choosing again who's going to live and die.
Yeah.
Based on a system that was intended to help you bring you up from third world country status. And now they're telling us to shove it in our ass. So there's no gratitude there.
No, none at all.
I don't know. This is what needs to be done, in my opinion. And I might do it, but I don't know. I mean, I have the brains for it. I just don't have the resources, which is usually capital. But I think right now, and as time goes on and this gets worse by every day, and the numbers are going exponential, and I'm just talking about the coronavirus, but the losses in the market and this and that and everything else, and the pricing of goods is going to go up. I don't know how much, but I would watch it every single day because I can say this. Those numbers, all of them, are going to change every single day, and not for the better.
No.
This is an
unfortunately,
opportunity.
it won't be.
This is an opportunity, like we were talking to Jason last week or the other night or whatever it was. This is an opportunity for people to start their own company, hire people in your community, in your town, in your state, in your country, and produce shit that's made here so we can buy it here, so nobody has us by the balls in the future. Excuse me. Oh, man. Oh, my God. I'm glad we're solving all the world problems today. Whatever.
Hey, we are, man.
I just want to eat. I don't want to pay $1 million for a steak. I mean, really?
Tell you what, why don't you run for president and I'll be your vice?
No, there's no way. There's no way. Because the president, it's way above the president. So it's been taken over. So if you do make changes, then they come in there after you intrinsically. And, I'm still not convinced that this virus wasn't released to take a lot of steam from Trump. I just cannot deny that. Or the Chinese did it because they're pissed off at us because of the trade imbalance and the tariffs. I don't know, but it's just very suspicious that this thing the way things have played out. I mean, it's just.
Did you see China's actually accusing us of, which I don't know how true this is, so don't. It may be fake news. I don't know. I just
allegedly
heard it in passing. Yeah, they are. China's allegedly saying that we brought it into China. That our army took it there, versus them bringing it here. And then, of course, on the other side of the table, I've been hearing people saying that there were Chinese coming up through the southern border and that they were actually bringing it in.
It supposedly came from Russia and they snuck it across the border. Then I heard that the Chinese.
I'll tell you, there are no stats coming out of Russia. None.
Well, I know because they locked everything down.
I want to know what the status is in Russia. I want to
I don't
know.
know if you would know.
Ugh. I mean, are they even testing?
I don't know. Try to get a hold of what's his face that ran there because he worked for the NSA and he ratted everybody out. He would know.
Right.
I forgot his name. I got his book though. So I don't know. I that is interesting though. They're either not releasing them or they just don't have it. I don't know.
I'm kind of leaning more towards they just don't have it. I could see Putin just not testing anybody and just letting it run its course.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting, but I'm preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. And somebody said in here about praying, and I say that too. I mean, we all need to pray for everybody's well-being. I mean, this is just gonna be. It's gonna have to be up to God, and then up to the people that have the power to make the right decisions, and then of course, you making the right decisions to survive this thing. But
yeah,
make no mistake. You people are just living your life like I am, like Mel is, like people in the chat room, people listening. You're just living your life. And you got blindsided by this, just like you did from the meltdown, and you didn't do anything. But we're paying the price for incompetence. And that's about the best word I can use.
Yeah. That was actually pretty good.
Well, that's what it is. We didn't do anything. I mean,
No.
I didn't pull out my mad scientist kit and make the fucking coronavirus. Did you? I didn't.
No, but we're gonna be the ones that have to pay to survive it.
Who in God's name would go, I want to take the SARS-MARS, allegedly, which has been proven anyway. Ron said he has proof. I'm going to take the SARS-MARS coronavirus, take it in my lab, and splice HIV into it because you know what? That's for the betterment of mankind. Who in the hell would do that? Well, we got to have it as a bioweapon because if we don't, they will. Really? How many nuclear weapons do we have?
Too many?
Yeah. You want to fuck with me with the virus? You're going to get vaporized. I mean, that's what this is. This is just biological warfare. It's invisible. Maybe
Well,
the invisible. They should make.
That's what a lot of people are saying is, this is biological warfare because somebody made it somewhere. And I'm sorry, but this did not come from a frickin' bat.
Yes, it did.
I saw
It's just
somebody
a fruit.
this morning posting about how it's transmitted by animals, but they've already shown that it's not.
I got a great book series or future movie or script. You take the invisible sociopath that's going around spreading the corona Wuhan virus.
Okay.
Well, everything's invisible. This is an invisible weapon of war.
Yeah. Well, that's why biological warfare is supposed to be illegal, because it's something that you can literally destroy an entire country overnight.
Yeah, whatever.
Isn't it in the Geneva Convention or something?
I don't know.
I can't remember which thing it's in, but I know we have something on paper somewhere about biological warfare.
I'm sure there's a treaty somewhere that, of course, nobody's following it because if you follow it, then the playing field's level. So somebody's doing some naughty things in the background. There's no doubt about it.
Of course.
So that's why sometimes I think treaties are not worth the paper they're written on because you don't know what they're going to do. The Chinese wouldn't let any of us in there to inspect and see what was going on. So what are you hiding?
Our treaties are the equivalent of a restraining order. It's a frickin' piece of paper that's not going to do a damn bit of good if somebody breaks it.
Well, what I think is going to happen, this is just speculation and me, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but this is going to get worse before it gets better, and it's not going to be fixed.
It's going to be much worse.
Another bailout, all blamed on us. You can't go anywhere. They're going to violate your rights like they did with 9/11, which I'm kind of shocked they didn't do it already, because it's our fault. It's your fault. Hijackers from Saudi Arabia, which, by the way, we're going to invade Iraq, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And I know it does, but it don't. And then we're going to take your Fourth Amendment right away or infringe upon it and all this other kind of crap. And if you fuck with us, you're going to be deemed a domestic terrorist and you can't fly anywhere. It's like, wait a minute. What did I do? I just want to get on a goddamn plane to go on vacation. And it takes me 3 hours from the time I leave my house to get on your plane because some hijackers with box cutters hijacked 2 planes or 3 planes or 5 planes, whatever it was. That's how you handle it? You take my rights away?
You don't want to get me started on 9/11.
No, I know I don't want to, but this is, and somebody said this, and so did I in Ron's chat room, and I've seen it even more and more now, that they're calling this a global 9/11. And I think that's pretty close.
I think it's essentially true.
It's pretty close, except this is invisible.
Yeah.
So there's invisible planes flying by invisible sociopaths with invisible coronavirus. I mean, really?
Think about it like guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, you technically, with guerrilla warfare, you have quote unquote invisible enemies because you don't know where they're at. Well, this is an invisible enemy that doesn't have a physical body.
Yep. I know. So how do you fight it? And you can't see it because there's no optics. So the only way you can deal with it, except getting a lot of anxiety, if you're prone to that, which I don't blame you, it's like, well, it's not a matter of if, it's when. And then what do you do? Well, you're past 60, so we're just going to let you die.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for all thanks for all the equity and raising your kids and being a good person and paying your taxes, but you can just go die. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. What good does following the social, quote unquote, social norms do us now?
Well, I don't know. I'm getting sick of it. And the only reason I'm getting sick of it is because people with power are not doing the right thing. They're not looking out for us. And that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, you wanted destruction of the middle class. We just got it. We are no longer going to have a middle class after this.
No.
It's going to be the rich and the poor, period.
Yeah, which are all holing up in their bunker right now, eating Cheetos and freaking watching Netflix. While we're out here scared
you
to
totally just opened a line for me. Sorry, I had to say it.
I don't care. It's my show and your network. You can say whatever the hell you want. I don't.
Well,
really
yeah,
care.
I mean, we are all about free speech, but
right.
I'm not going to politicize this. This is not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
just
that's
made me
interesting too, and keeping it very superficial. This goes back quite a bit. So it's not a Democrat or Republican. It's our elected servants and officials doing what they're doing because they can do it.
Yeah.
And then again, we pick up the ball. But mark my words, you can only print so much money. $1 billion with a B that they injected in one day.
A trillion. With a T.
Well, I stand corrected. Even worse, $1 trillion. 1 trillion. So the debt clock just went up $1 trillion in a day, not including the interest that's being accumulated.
Yeah, I made a comment in the Facebook chat about the fact that we could have just used that $1 trillion for toilet paper.
Yeah.
Because that's the equivalent of what they just did.
Yeah, and it's gone. It's vaporized. Well, we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But
Keep
you gotta pay
bailing
your
out
taxes.
those corporations, though.
We don't know where it went. It got pissed down a hole. It went to Iraq, China, everybody else. Nobody got it here in America and on our buddies and banks and everything and corporations. But yeah, we don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. And in the meantime, you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
It's a great, great system.
And I'm sorry, but, covering all these people with companies over 200 employees or whatever the number is,
Yep.
What does that do for the rest of us? How many people now own their own business and are working virtually?
Yep.
What good does that do us? If my clients aren't getting paid, I'm not getting paid.
Nope. Trickle down.
And I'm really hoping they do that, the Small Business Association giving out loans for this, because that's the only thing that's going to save a lot of us.
Bill put in here, I don't know where these numbers are from. He says 50% of our budget is on defense and 2% is on agriculture.
Well, yeah, that's what people on my side of the fence have been screaming about for a long time. Is okay, our defense budget is more than all other countries combined.
I don't get any. You know what? I don't get that. I mean, that's what knocked the Romans out. Except the Romans couldn't print money; they shaved coins to make more, which caused inflation. And they kept doing it because they couldn't afford the soldiers for the military, and they went under. They went under specifically because of the cost of war to try to dominate the entire planet. Okay, but now we can just print money, so it doesn't matter, and spend as much as we want. I'm still going to go to this, and I go. You know what? All our military's coming back. And if you fuck with us, you will get a warning, depending on what the definition of that is. I mean, if someone launches a missile at us, you're going to get a missile back. So, but if you do something to attack this country and hurt the citizens of the United States, you are going to be vaporized. Sorry. I mean, if you kill somebody or do a horrible, heinous crime, 9 times out of 10, you get the death penalty, or you sit in prison the rest of your life. What would be you got to take them out of existence, or at least society. Why wouldn't you do that to them?
I don't know.
Well, I don't either, but this shit ain't working because that ain't going to cost a lot of money. It's not. It's not. This is all going to end up as who's going to blow up who first. That's all it. And then you're going to retaliate, and now everybody's blown up. And in the meantime, you're pissing money down a hole, which could be used to help people. 2% in agriculture? Are you kidding me? We're going to starve to death.
Well, I mean, if you look at some of the things that people on the left put out, it's a lot of it is about the fact that, okay, everybody's complaining about their taxes. Do you realize how much of our taxes are going to that defense budget?
57%, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so all those social programs that they keep trying to cut and all of our safety nets that they keep trying to cut, all of those could be, if we took even a third or a quarter of our defense budget, we could cover all those.
Well, that's fine. And a lot of people have an attitude that you shouldn't be on government assistance programs and blah, 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 blah. But I will say this in defense of them. If you can't work because you lost your job and you train Lu Hong Dong Wong to take your job and send them back to China, and now you're unemployed, and then you get all these autoimmune issues and health concerns and anxiety and all this other kind of crap, and you can't work because your job was ripped away from you, and then, well, I need an income. Well, I guess we'll put you on disability or Social Security, whatever the fuck it is. It's like, well, no, you can't do that. You're a loser because you're sucking off the government. And it's like, wait a minute. Who caused this problem? Again, not me. I had a job. My 3 generations at the auto plant, made your cars so we all could drive. And you gave my job away, and I can't get a job to take care of my family. So I lost my goddamn mind and my health. And yeah, I need to survive because you're the ones that are charging us to exist on this planet, which came from you, by the way. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? So it's kind of been self-inflicted situation, in my opinion.
Well, and that's why you hear me saying all the time that if the government creates the issue, then it's the government's responsibility to fix said issue, not us.
They're not going to.
We shouldn't have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps when our government's the one that put us in the position to begin with.
That's right, but you won't win that one. So.
But keep paying for all that defense money that, you know, number one, we don't need. We don't need twice as much as the rest of the world.
Nope.
Number two, why are we in everybody else's backyard when ours is a mess?
Yeah. Don't even get me into chemtrails. I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go down that road. Because they don't.
Which
exist.
I will say, I've been seeing a whole lot more lately than I have in the past.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Well, you got to spray that coronavirus to make sure everybody gets it. That was a joke.
Yeah, a joke that may be true.
Well, yeah, good luck proving it because they won't even confirm that it happens, and they got pictures of jets equipped with the sprayers, so and actually videos in the air of them doing it. So whatever. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to say this and end the show because I got to go. That if they're going to put us on vacation for a month, and people said, "Well, what do we do? What do we do? We have to revolt. We have to do this. We have to do that." Unfortunately, I think in the end, if the government finally doesn't go by the will of the people for we the people, unfortunately, that may happen. But before that, they're going to put us in our homes for a month. That's just my guesstimation. There's a train.
Yeah, it's going to be at least a month.
Yeah. And you know what? I really, truly think that the only way to get this message across is pull an Atlas Shrugged and go on strike. If you're going to put me at home against my will for my safety or the entire country or planet for that matter, you know what? I'm going to stay home until you fix this shit. Because then that way you take away the income stream.
Well, yeah.
So, you know what? My ass is sitting here playing PlayStation, eating Doritos. I don't give a fuck what you do. I am not going back to work and continue to contribute to the machine and the monster until you people do something.
Okay, so we have a question on the website.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. What day was it?
Martin has asked, where in the Constitution does it say the government job is to provide health, education, and job? It may not say that in there, but when they continually create problems with people being able to be healthy, be educated, and have a job, then they need to do something about it to fix it. If they're not providing health, education, and a job, how are we going to have a country? If we don't have health, we have a dead country, kind of like what we're looking at right now.
Right, exactly.
If we don't have education, how are we going to have either health or jobs? Because nobody's going to know how to do anything. They're not going to know history. They're not going to know how to do any kind of educated job that takes education. And then jobs, well, just like you were just saying, we're sending our jobs overseas. What jobs we do have don't pay the bills.
Yep.
Nobody on minimum wage can survive unless they're in an extremely depressed area that doesn't have the rental rates that everybody else has.
And then
even then, you're still not making enough to get ahead.
And the robots are going to take the minimum wage non-skilled jobs, so more people are going to be out of business. But Bonnie, yeah, don't give me into Social Security either, because I figured that one out. That's the biggest crock of shit shell game ever invented. So I made the mistake of understanding it as this. It's a tax, which it is a tax. They take it out of your check, and silly dumbass me assumed it goes into Tim Parsons' Social Security check fund for when he retires, a forced savings account. No, it should not be taxed because you already paid taxes on it. So when you retire, it's tax-free money. No, what they do is they take the money out of my check and then they give it to a person that's already on Social Security and they tax that person as income tax, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
So when I retire,
it's taxed multiple times.
Right. It's double taxed. I don't give a flying fuck what they say. That's a double tax. That's my money as income. I pay taxes on. It should be considered done. Transactions done. It's in a savings account for me to retire. Period. No. Well, we're doing this to help people so they can make it in the retirement years because they don't have a pot to piss in. Really? Well, how come you're taking money out of my check and giving it to somebody else? Then you're taxing them on an income tax rate. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a fucked up system. I can't even tell you. When I finally figured it out on my own, which I did, I'm like, this is a crock of shit. Take my money, put it into account. I'd prefer you threw it in the stock market. Well, that's a whole formula thing. Or just let it sit there. I don't really care. But don't take it and give it to somebody else and tax that as income. Because now the money's gone. Yeah. And that was my money.
Yeah, by the time we hit 65, which that's if they don't raise the age that you get it before then.
Yeah, right.
There's not going to be anything left for us.
Well, there's not enough millennials or generations behind the baby boomers, which I just barely get in there. I'm more of a Gen X baby boomer. You're probably a Gen X, I would assume.
I'm solid Gen X.
Yeah, but the baby boomers, which is the biggest employment population in the history of this country, are going on retirement. So who's going to pay for that? Because there's not enough people working to pay for the people that are retiring. It's the dumbest, fucking irresponsible, incompetent system that's ever been devised. There's not enough payers to pay Social Security because there's more people on Social Security than they are working.
Yeah. And on top of that, the Social Security that they do get, those who are on it already, it's not enough to pay for home.
No, I know all that. It's a fixed income, and you show inflation in there. God forbid you have an emergency. Or I went to the doctor yesterday. I'm freaking out. How am I going to pay for this fucking medical bill? But I got insurance and I go, okay, now I got to go get this steroid filled. How much is that going to be? It was $4, you know, but that's not the point. If it was $100, I'd be in trouble. I got to decide what I'm going to pay and not going to pay.
Oh, honey, so whenever I got diagnosed, I did the cocktails of pills. I was on 16 to 20 pills a day, hardcore stuff, and off of insurance. And this is back in 2003.
Yeah.
Because I got off of all of my meds in 2003. It would have cost me $1,600 a month off of insurance for those pills.
Oh my God. It's a Ponzi scheme, Bonnie. That's what it is. A freaking Ponzi scheme. Once you have people stop paying in the Ponzi scheme, it all comes tumbling down. Well, you know what? Whatever. I'm just getting sick and tired of having my trust and my livelihood into people that I think give a shit. Because they don't.
No, they don't. Our government doesn't give a damn about us.
I mean, there is a way to do that and not be, you know, the guy that asked the question about healthcare and education and all that. This is my libertarian perspective on this. The government shouldn't be involved in any of that shit.
No.
Okay. Because you can go to school in a public school. You can go to a college, community college. It's going to be free with Bernie, by the way, or a 4-year college, or get your master's or whatever. Do you know how many people have gone down that road and spent all that money and they still, no offense, they still work at Starbucks?
Yeah.
Okay. So your education is your responsibility. And there's a difference between education and knowledge, because the stuff they teach you only teaches you to be an employee. It doesn't teach you to be a business owner or an entrepreneur, I can talk, or anything like that. They don't tell you how to be a critical thinker and thinking for yourself. They brainwash you for their better interest. Then you throw healthcare in there, and healthcare was fine, in my opinion, until, here we go again, until greedy companies and corporations looked at their balance sheet and the liability side and go, well, you know what? We could save $1 gazillion if we got rid of healthcare. Well, you're an asshole. I had my small business and I paid for my employees 100% and their families 100% until Obamacare kicked in. Then my prices were going sky high. I couldn't afford it anymore. So I only could cover the employee, and they had to cover their family because I really, truly couldn't afford it anymore. So there's another instance where the government got into something that they shouldn't have got into. The more the government tries to fix something, the more they fuck it up. And then we got to pay for it, or we don't get the quality of education, healthcare, and all the other crap that he brought up. That is up to you. Now, you're not going to win against insurance companies and get covered in this and that because it's so goddamn expensive right now. I don't know how anybody can afford it. So I don't know what you're going to do about that, except eat right, take care of yourself. I got my blood pressure checked yesterday, and the nurse was like, wow, this is great. And I'm not even on any blood pressure medicine. And you wouldn't think I don't have high blood pressure listening to me now, but that's the reason why I don't, because I don't hold this shit in. Yeah. I let it out. And I'm not projecting, and I'm not blaming, and I'm not finger pointing. I'm just venting. I'm ranting. You know, your responsibility for your livelihood, your education, your success, your failure, all that stuff, your retirement, all that is in your hands. But if you think the government's going to take care of that shit for you, you are sadly mistaken, because not only are you going to pay for it, you're not going to live the life that you're able to do because it's impossible. So that's my opinion, and that's it in a nutshell. It's up to you. You do what you got to do. Just follow the law. Don't use violence. Don't do this. Just make yourself a better person from spirit, mind, and physical, and chances are you're going to be fine. But never be dependent on a job, which I am, or the government or anybody else to solve your problems or take care of you, because apparently if you're past 60 years old and you need that, they're going to leave you to die. Or steal your money, or both. I don't know. Yeah. That's the reality of the world. That ain't me. That is the world we live in. But don't get to an age like me, or even Melissa, I'm not going to speak for her, but then you're there like, oh my God, you're here to help me. Well, you should have got an education. You know, you should have health insurance. I can't do all that stuff because I believed in what you people told me to do, and it was all a big fat lie.
Yeah.
So don't,
Which I will tell you from a self-employed point of view, there's no way I would ever rely on Social Security. None. Fortunately, I'm in a field where I enjoy what I do, and I would do it regardless if I got paid or not. I do a lot of pro bono work as it is.
Yep.
But most people don't have that option.
Nope.
You know, I can sit here and work until the day I die.
And you will.
And I probably will until
Yeah,
my hands
so
give
will I.
way,
Yep.
or until I have no way to be able to work on a web page. I'll be doing this.
Yep.
But most people don't have that option.
Nope. No, they don't. But you can't. I mean, this is a warning to you people that are younger. I don't know who's listening to this, who's going to listen to it. I don't really care. Because I'm probably starting to sound like an old person that's grumpy and crabby and fucking, you know, like your grandfather was or my grandfather was.
We're getting old, Tim.
Yeah, I know. And there is division in that by generations. I understand that. But regardless, this will cross all generations. Like I said, your livelihood and your future is in your hands. Nobody is going to give that to you. I don't care what they promise. Nothing's free. Everything comes at a cost. And when they tell you that, there's underlying motives for their self-benefit, whoever they are, not yours.
Right.
And if they would make the medical industry for non-for-profit, and a doctor and somebody looks at something and goes, well, we can do this and we can do that, but it's going to cost us this and cost us that. Well, don't do this and just do that because we got to make money on this person that's dying. Or the doctor looks at it and goes, okay, we need to save this person or their life's at stake. What do we do to save it? That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
that's
about the
honestly,
money.
that's what we're about. We're about to get a real heavy dose of that.
Yeah, it's all about making money on someone being sick. What in the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. I mean, that is where my boundary, when it's crossed. Wait a minute. You're treating this person based on how much money you're going to make off of them? That's being used an asset or a commodity or a property or whatever you want to, legal term you want to use it. That's a person. That's someone's grandma.
We're nothing but chattel to them.
I mean, they treat dogs better than the way they do us when we go to the frickin' doctor. I mean, tell me that I'm wrong. I mean,
Well,
that's
if you do not have insurance or you do not have adequate insurance, if you go into the hospital for something, the moment that you are stable and the moment that you don't need to be hooked up to something anymore, you get booted out of that hospital. It doesn't matter if 2 days later something's going to go wrong.
I know.
They don't keep you long enough anymore until to make sure that you're really okay. I mean, even when a woman has a kid, if they have insurance, then they get to stay for a few days. If they don't have insurance or inadequate insurance, you're out of that hospital within 2 days after having a freaking kid.
Yeah, that's horrible. I called the doctor the other day and they go, oh, were you a patient here? I don't see your name. I go, no, but I have a swollen gland that I want to need attention. Well, do you have a primary care physician? I go, no, I don't go to the doctor until I need to. And she goes, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So forget about that. I need medical attention, and I know my body enough where I need a medical attention. But since I'm not a in the club member that goes to that doctor all the time, they basically told me to go fuck myself.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, what happened to the hypocritical oath and all that other crap? I need medical attention. I have an insurance card. Well, no, we can't see you.
They don't have to take that oath anymore?
I know. I don't want to get into that. We talked about that before.
I thought that we did.
It's about the public health of the people, not about being in the club or have you come here before? Well, really, quite honestly, ma'am, I moved here 2 years ago and I've been to the doctor once, and that was for an upper urinary tract infection and double ear infection. I was all fucked up, but I needed a doctor. So, oh, well, you've never been here before. It's like, so you can just die. You can just die because you're 60 and we don't need you anymore. Not 60 yet, but we don't need you anymore. And we can't make a profit on you. So no, you need to go somewhere else. What?
Yeah.
What type of system is that?
That's what happens when your health system is for profit.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Why don't you move your hospital to China, asshole? Because it's probably cheaper
welcome
there.
to a corporate country. Corporations, when they made corporations the equivalent of people, I about lost my shit.
Yeah, because it's all numbers. It's all bean counters. By transaction, by treatment, whatever you want to call it. By customer. You're not a patient. You're a customer.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
We're getting on some good rants this morning.
I know, but I got to really go. It's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to stop. We can continue this forever. I didn't plan on talking about this stuff. But once again,
we never do.
No, we never do. And this will go. But anyway, say goodbye to everybody in the chat room because I got to cut you off. I got to go to work and pay for Social Security for some other asshole that's going to retire ahead of me or behind me, whatever, however that's going to work.
Ahead of you.
Some millennial that don't want a job and don't want to work, but I got to pay for their fucking ass now. So I got to go.
Bill just said, Tim, you're wound this morning.
Well, when things hit I'm not defending myself, but you know what? I can only take so much. You only can beat an animal in a corner for so long. And I'm 56, okay? I've been following the rules. I've been doing this. I've been doing what I was told, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a freaking train. So I'm getting sick of this. But when you don't have human decency and respect for life, and you put a price tag on that, or you're not a productive member of society because you're not an income stream anymore, that's a problem. So our society is going to be dwindled into nothing because we're all nothing but a dollar sign.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, you take your dog to the vet and, oh my God, you got to put Fluffy down and they actually care and the vet's really cool and blah, 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 blah. We don't even treat people like that.
No.
Well, I'm looking at Fluffy here and he really needs this and that, but you know what? I'm not going to make any money on that because your insurance coverage, if you have pet insurance, you don't need to have insurance for pets, but whatever. Well, some people do. But, you don't meet the deductible and this and that. We're not going to make enough money off you. So although you need this procedure to be 100% healthy, we're just going to half-ass fix you because we'll make more money doing that. And then you might live a little bit longer, but you're not going to live as long as you did if we did it right because it costs us money. Oh, man. That pisses. I didn't run my business like that. I was not a driven dollar person by some things I lost money on, some I made a lot of money on. That's just the way it turned out. But in the end, my balance sheet was profitable. But you can't take every situation and every person and squeeze every penny out of it just for the name of profits. You can't.
Yeah. No, you can't. And I mean, if you think about it, we literally are nothing but a number. We have a Social Security number.
I know.
We are nothing but that number.
Well, I'm getting sick of it because I'm going to pull a John Galt or whatever, and I'm going to disappear, and everybody can go fuck themselves because I'm not going to be a slave until the day I die or laying in a hospital bed. Well, we could save you, Mr. Parsons, but we got a 40-year-old or 30-year-old. And if it's a kid, if it was a kid, I go, you know what? Let the kid live, and that's fine. But, if it's somebody within 20 years of me or whatever, it'd be like, really? How do you know I'm not going to live to be 100 and they're going to die at 80?
Right.
You're not God. You don't say who lives and dies based on
they do.
How much more money. I know that. But you're not going to base that based on play God based on how much more money you're going to make.
No.
Or lose for that matter.
No, I mean, look at how fast, you of all people know how quickly that money situation can change.
Oh, absolutely. It can change overnight. But they don't look at it as like, what are we going to make off of you? They look at it as what are we going to lose on you?
Yeah.
That's how they look at it. What's it going to cost us? Like you're an asshole. Really? So I'm going to be laying there in my deathbed and I follow all the rules. And then well, Mr. Parsons, we're not going to make any money on you. So we're going to let you die. And that 40-year-old, we're going to make money on that person. So we're going to let them live.
Yeah.
Whoa. So my ass will just disappear. I don't know where I'm gonna go. But if you think I'm gonna still live in this freaking system, you're nuts. I mean, I'd rather. I've never been technically homeless on the street with nothing, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you what. At least I got my liberties and freedom, and if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be my choice. This is
Well, I can tell you, I have been homeless with my kids, and it's pretty freaking scary out there.
Yeah, no shit, Mean Gene. Yeah. Live 70 and die with a smile on your face, or
Right.
90 in pain, and all the shit hooked up to you, and go, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Parsons. We're not going to make any money on you. Time to pull the plug. So say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm the same way. I'd much rather die with my dignity.
Whatever. Because all the elites and the politicians live happily ever after till they're 100 in their mansions. Out of the country, I may add. Whatever. Whatever. That's enough of that shit. So Fridays are supposed to be high energy and this and that, and I don't know, but we just got into it and the dominoes fell in place. So, but I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I got to go to work. It's 8:05. I wanted to be out by 7:30, and I really appreciate everybody commenting and listening. But once again, we're not trying to cause conflict or problems. We're just calling things the way that we see them, which is our reality. But it's for you to decide what that reality is, because in the end, whatever your decisions are, your beliefs are, is going to affect your reality.
Yeah.
But if you're dumb enough to believe that somebody else has your best interest and livelihood over their motives or whatever agenda, you're nuts. You think I'm fucking nuts? You're nuts. At least I know better. I know my life lays in my hands and my future lies in my hands, and that's the way it's always been. I just didn't realize that until 2008 when the meltdown happened. Then you're going to see how important or how much people really do care about you, because you're not in the club, man. So, and if you're not in the club, you're out. You're out. So,
but we have our own club.
Well, that's right. We got our own club, so fuck them. Yeah, I don't care. I've had money. Money did not make me happy. It caused me more problems than I even care to share. So, but I am probably the happiest since I've been an innocent kid and didn't know what money was and sex and all that stuff. I just want to go outside and fucking play and have a great time. That when I was truly happy. But I have never been more happier than I am now in my adult lifehood. So, I mean, building my business and that and take care of my family, that was more content and being at peace because I was taking care of my family and my employees for that matter. But as far as me now, just as me taking care of me, I've never been more happier than I am right now.
I have to say that I've always been pretty content.
Yeah, content. That's different though.
Yeah.
Content's good enough. And that's not good enough for me. I need peace and happiness. And if you think you're going to get it from somebody else, you're crazy.
I definitely have the peace and happiness part, but I also have, obviously everybody does have their stressful moments,
What are you talking about? I'm not pissed, fuckers. Oh, there's another complaint.
I don't like him because he swears.
Don't forget about everything else. Oh my God. Oh my, whatever. All right, so anyway, say goodnight, Gracie. Say goodbye to everybody in the chat room, and we will see you Monday morning. I don't know if we'll be on Monday night, but who knows? It's 3-4 days away, so a lot can happen. But I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. But thanks for listening. Just trying to make you think, not trying to make you think the way I want you to think, or Mel wants you to think, or anybody on this network wants you to think. We want you to think for yourself, and we're giving you the tools to do that. Right, Melissa?
Yes, we are. At least we're trying.
But you are in the club, so there you go. So
you're in the cool blah. Boy, I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Cool Kids Club. Say that 3 times fast. Wow.
Not high.
I haven't smoked enough, apparently.
Yeah, right. I haven't drank enough. You're in the Cool Kids Club, man. So far out. All right. So, yeah, good night, Gracie. And
good night, Gracie.
Everybody have a great weekend. And thank you so much for listening to the show. And please share it. And we're just trying to wake you up, or at least on this show. That's all I can say. All right. All right, guys, I got to go to work. Time to make the donuts, pay for losers who are sitting on their ass, and people that are going to retire behind me, which there's not going to be enough money, and they're going to tax them on it. So there you go. Okay. But no, I hope everybody's safe. Be smart, and keep an eye again on what's happening and how people are behaving. That's where the real answers lie. So, okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great weekend. You have been listening to the original Red Pill Show. Have a great weekend. Good night, Gracie. Goodbye.